Series 6 generally seems to be regarded as the turning point in Doctor Who, where the qualities seem to go down for some people. While I do think it is better than people give it credit for, I would say there's enough issues for me not to call it a guilty pleasure. I do appreciate that Stephen tried to introduce a few shake-ups this year, not only starting with a two-parter, but mixing things up by having the TARDIS team from the previous season stick around, which makes sense in terms of allowing for the characters to grow, but considering how similar the modern companions tend to be, it seems more practical than just replacing them with basically the same people played by different actors. And speaking of which, I do appreciate how much the 11th Doctor grows this season. A lot of people say this is when he became a bit too silly, but I disagree, as at points we get to see the implication that his goofy side is something that he's putting on for Amy and Rory, and occasionally that mask slips and he's forced to take more cold choices. River Song has a somewhat promising start, but once we see the younger version of her, I really lose interest because she gets very grating and obnoxious at points. What ultimately brings this season down is the incredibly messy mystery box, with way too many threads and the lack of a satisfying conclusion by the end. It meant that a lot of people kind of lost interest. Series 6 definitely has its fair share of legitimately great episodes. I think it starts strong with the Astronaut two-parter. We've also got The Doctor's Wife, The Girl Who Waited, which is my personal favourite, and The God Complex, which is very surreal. But then we have quite a few very uninteresting filler episodes, which are quite forgettable, and given how people are just desperate for the answers that Moffat is trying to hint towards them, these not particularly interesting stories do come off as a lot weaker because it's just wasting people's time. Though I can look back on it fondly, retroactively, when it first came out, it really needed to stick the landing in order for this new era to succeed, and sadly, because that wasn't the case, I do feel it impacted the rest of the Moffat era and it never quite recovered.